All right, my fellow agents, it is I, X7, your master of martial arts and host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Also, the co host of GD Explanations. Look for new episodes on GD Explanations on YouTube every Monday, barring unforeseen circumstances, which rarely happen. And now it is Saturday. That means it is Shaolin Saturday, and we are going to be talking about one of the greatest spectacles of martial arts that you can see. It's mostly weapons fighting, which is fine because it's a bunch of different weapons, but it's from Jimmy Wang Yu in 1973. It's called Beach of the War Gods. Having said all that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this movie. I'm hoping Blake will probably chime in here because he's very knowledgeable. Buy his books and his magazine, and they're available on Amazon. And just let us know what you think of the movie. All right, are you ready? Let's roll. So this movie, Beach of the War Gods, set in the latter days of the Ming Dynasty. I believe I read that's the 15th century over here. This is how it begins there with this lovely ocean shots. 1556, second month, so February. And yes, I don't know how true this is, but it's basically another adaptation of the Seven Samurai story. This has happened a lot. It's I read a review that someone said, "Is it more Battle Beyond the Stars or Magnificent Seven?" It's better than Battle. I like Battle Beyond the Stars, which I will have to review. And Magnificent Seven's a magnificent classic masterpiece, trademark masterpiece. And but this is really good. I mean, if it weren't for Master of the Flying Guillotine, which I just wish someone could find the negative of that and give us this gorgeous print like this. This came from a Blu-ray. Well, not my Blu-ray. It came from the Internet Archive. There is a Blu-ray out, which is full of extras, but it is out of print now. So you'll pay a lot of money if you really want it. It stars Wang Yu. It was written by Wang Yu, Jimmy Wang Yu, and directed by Wang Yu. The I wanted to say the fight choreographer. It wasn't listed on the movie credits, so I had to go to IMDb and keep that. Jeez. Oh, I don't want that. Go away. Let's try this. Anyway, it wasn't listed on there. Where'd it go? Details, technical specs. There, parents guide. Jeez. There it goes. All cast and crew. IMDb's changed things and it's annoying. But we see a lone martial artist, though we don't know it at this point in time, lone swordsman wandering uh, um, across there. He sees the city. He needs some food. The contrast between the wall of the city and then going in where it's green and there's, it's a town. Let's see. I'll scroll down here. Where did they go? Stunt coordinators were Pao Shao and Hung Quan. So I'm assuming that there might have been more. They just weren't listed at least in my credits here. So he wants some food. They're talking about the Japanese. He's headed toward another town where his uncle lives, is a famous general. Unfortunately, the Japanese have invaded and they want 20,000 taels of silver. Taels are about 50-gram weights, 0.50 gram, something like that. They come in coins or those big silver blocks you see on occasion. I like the food dogs here, that's why I kept that one. Now they give us the money. And they're like, well, what should we do? Should we appease them? Which is never a good idea. Because they've taken the city where Wang Yu as I think it's Chao Feng or Xiao Feng, maybe. Mr. Xiao, they call him that. So this guy here says, "We'll fight you." And then, of course, the fighting starts. Suddenly, I'd say a shot rang out, but a chopstick rings out, and one of the Japanese foot soldiers is gone. There's actually seven of the higher ranking samurai. I don't know. Yeah, one, two, three, four, five, six. Oh, there's eight, but he's killed one. They've killed several citizens already, and there he is right there. And then the first battle shows up. This movie is probably. I should have looked it up in the in Craig Reed's book and seen how much, but it's probably at least 50% fighting. But there he and Wang Yu is just a magnetic presence. There's no getting around it. He deserved every accolade he got. But and like I said, if it hadn't been if it as far as technical masterpieces and cinematic masterpieces, this is probably his greatest movie. But it's not the balls to the wall weird action that the flying Master of the Flying Guillotine is. So I like that one just a little more. But there's one of the higher ranking. I don't want to call them samurai, but Japanese martial artists. They probably are. And Wang Yu borrows one of the katanas. This movie does prove that not all Japanese swords are created equal, and the samurai really got the best ones. But just look at the way this is shot. I mean, his cinematographer. Let's see if I can find that in here. Is just Yao Hu Choi. Is just did a great job with his direction. I mean, and when you see how many people are involved, I don't have to really talk too much about it. He wipes out everybody, and he's a double swordsman, which we don't really get to see too much because usually he's got one arm chopped off. I like this shot too. I mean, makes great use of the widescreen photography here. But the guy in the red runs away like a coward. So I mean, they're supposed to be the invading troops, but they're more like pirates who are just coming over and pretending to do things in the name of Japan. Kills the last guy, and he says, "I got you into this mess. I'll make sure I get you out of it." So they go, they find out who his uncle is, and they all salute him and have a cheer. And that's where he says, "Okay, but they're going to be here in 10 days. I'll go out and find some help, and we'll get people trained up because everybody's going to have to fight." Seven samurai all over. There's our villain, who is, I'm going to scroll back up here, and I'll tell you that is Lung Fei as Hashimoto. They said what his first name was, but he's known as a samurai and a master swordsman, but he's kind of gone rogue. So these are not really representative of the Japanese people. He's over there just making money, trying to get all the money he can. So he's gone rogue. I don't know if this is a big hit over in Japan or not, but they did like Wang Yu's movies and Bruce Lee's movies, who did not always depict Japanese in a very positive light. On a positive note, none of them have fangs or have wild bushy hair, but they all use the katana. And so there's his uncle. He won't bow, so they kill him. Just they don't show it, but you know that they behead him with that sword. Here's our first hero that Wang Yu, Mr. Xiao recruits. That is Han She as Iron Bull or Iron Man Chow. This guy is the local. I think he thinks he's a tough guy, but he beats him up pretty easily. And then Wang Yu, Mr. Chow recruits him. Yeah, introduce themselves. They become friends. Then they show up again. The bully spills this guy on the man. Lee Hung Quan, I believe that's Lee, the man in black. That is the samurai that would be Napoleon Solo. Well, in Magnificent Seven, the man in black, and also the same character that he played in Battle Beyond the Stars, who just wants to rest. But he's a master of throwing knives. I mean, geez, how does he not poke himself with everything? But he doesn't say much. But he takes care of business. He wants money to join. Very much in the, it's it. So, yeah, I wrote that in there. Then we meet these two, which is Leng and Hung, I believe. I could be wrong. Tianye and Chang Yi Quan. This guy is a master of, he uses shields as weapons, double shields, which is amazing, and they're sharpened on the bottom. So that's a very fine, how do you, or an interesting choice. And his buddy there that they're having this guy has double spears, short spears. So they begin their fight because for some reason they're at odds with each other. They've got some beef, got some heat. And then, of course, Mr. Chow shows up and says, hey, we got to repel the Japanese. You can kill them instead of each other. And they're like, hey, that's a great idea. There's no struggles. The only person that they don't really like, because there's the 4, because he recruits 4. So it's not really a 7, it's more of a Savage 5 situation. Also a remake. That's the Shaw Brothers version. But it's also, it's because we do, of course, get the Man in Black, and Iron Man Chow doesn't like him at first. It's much shorter. The movie runs 103 minutes, more or less. The training begins right away, but they leave out a whole bunch because, it's spectacle. And the first half of the movie is the training, and then the last 50 minutes are probably the fighting. Maybe the last 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It's amazing. But they get to know each other a little bit, and they're training them up, and then the Japanese issue their challenge and run away, run away, run away. They want their 20,000 taels of silver, and they're like, screw those hippies. And there is Hashimoto on being carried. This seems like that's a little arrogant, but that's definitely a samurai because they were thought to be a class above. Their retainers and everything. The Japanese are here, and they do use the slurs and lots of things. But when your country's invaded, that's what happens, especially by rogue Japanese. Look at all the people here. Now I'm sure that they had their stuntmen and all of the backup actors double up to be both good guys and bad guys, because you don't see that many of them all together at once. You see a lot of them, but not like they had a cast of hundreds maybe, but not thousands. It makes it look like there's thousands in the Japanese army. There's drummers in masks, and then the booby traps start. Kaboom! Wipes out a bunch of them. Another booby trap wipes out 2 sets of them. So they won 2, and now they're searching, and then they decide, let's go. They see the walls. Let's go. We'll come back in the morning, and they do. But then they get the old hot oil treatment. Now these guys are grabbing up. So either they put the hot oil in these pots and then poured it out before it could get too hot. The pots could, transient properties, burning them alive. Burn, burn. He warns them and then gets killed. Now the fighting begins in earnest. And like I said, I'm sure that you don't get a lot of close-ups of all the extras, so they probably did a lot of double duty, coming back to life, getting killed and coming back to life. Because these guys, they trained them up real good in 10 days. There's just shots. So I tried to not do too many shots. Double Spears shows up and gets in a lot of good shots, then double shield. So they're fighting together. I don't know if they're friends, but look at these. He's crushing his head. Crush, crush, crush. Wish I'd have put that in there. And the Man in Black there, Napoleon Solo, is just watching. But he starts chucking knives at everyone and just taking them out. He's the sniper. And Jiminy Christmas. See, that's a preternatural power, right? So he just throws him. He's like Wolverine. In fact, I didn't even think of that with his claws out there. But yeah, he just wipes him out. One shot. But he has to run out of. It's like Hawkeye never ran out of arrows until he actually needed to dramatically. Now they're coming through, but they don't look up. They see the coffin. Of course, the coffin's there to distract them, but these guys are all waiting for him. Look at this shot though, because they all jump down. Iron Man shows up and yells at them, and they jump down and kill a whole bunch. And he's got this massive broadsword. He was selling swords, and they've got the double katana here. But it's just, the action is nonstop. They do let people breathe every once in a while, because I'm quite sure that Wang Yu knew to space things out and not hit you over the head with constant action. But it's pretty constant. But you don't get the video game feel like you do in a lot of current movies, where it's just like they're just bouncing around off each other. Now they do make use of some wires and some trampolines here and there, which we'll see. But for the most part, I mean, I've come to understand that this movie was made in very warm temperatures, and these guys were out there in 10, 12, 14 hours sweating and drinking water and just trying to get this movie made. There's not a Wikipedia entry for it, which is a little annoying, but you do what you can. More warning: they regroup. Everyone's settled. They're looking at each other. Wang Yu makes his Mr. Chow makes his appearance, and they bring out the to try to stop the swords. They bring out the shieldsmen, and they're like, "Oh, and this guy here is. Oh wait, this guy's got it. Got the. I had to look this up. I thought it was a Kusarigama, which is the sickle and chain weapon, and she makes good use of. So he's the only one on the Japanese side that actually gets a different weapon. Everyone else has the basic katana. So it's nice to see that, and he makes use of it. So we get different swords and spears and from everyone else. I know I say I don't like just weapons movies, but there's such a variety of weapons, and there's some hand-to-hand stuff here and there, which is quite good. So they cut these guys' legs out. They're just dumb enough to. I mean, they don't portray these retainers as being very bright. Now the guys in red are smarter, and the double. There's just lots of fight. This scene is with the double cross swords here, done quite a few times. But this guy ends up in the coffin. Dun dun dun. Double spear stabs him, but gets knifed in the back by somebody else, and he throws his spear through that guy. The drummers start again. Now I'm sure there's a symbolism to this, but I don't know what it is. There's the use of the flying. Yeah. And that is Wang Yu doing at least some of his own stunts. Off the trampoline, that's probably not him. But they probably had 2 or 3 second unit directors doing all this because it's a massive undertaking. Trying to remember who got killed and where they got killed. But it really works. This movie just flows really well. It's very entertaining. And the bad guys get it. There's the Kusarigama right there. Chain sickle dude, and then they kill him, and off they go. More drumming, and then Napoleon Solo jumps up there, and finally Hashimoto shows up. Now his katana is way more powerful than the other ones. It's a samurai. It's a true samurai weapon. See, I mean, he just mows people down right and left. So they put him over as being a force of a very good swordsman and an excellent. So I mean, slicing and yeah. So, and you think that Iron Man is going to get killed, but there's double shields, and he does this fancy trick. But see, they do these are great shots. I just can't get over it. And unfortunately, the Man in Black gets killed because he always gets killed in these movies. Always, always gets killed. The lone gun there. He gets stabbed, sliced open, dies. And now they're buddies, and Iron Man Chow wants to get revenge. More flying through the air. Double shields gets killed. He slices apart the shields. That's how powerful that katana is. Wang Yu is he looks like he's got his leg cut off, but he's not. He's never been the one-legged swordsman, which I'm surprised they didn't think of. Somebody probably has. Blake? Anyway, these retainers are giving up. We're like, don't kill us, don't kill us. Now, how they know Japanese or Chinese, go figure. So, but they finally, they sound the retreat. This guy gets knifed, and Hashimoto says, let's go. And now these 2 are the only left alive out of the fabulous 5. It's only the terrific duo. The terrific twosome. Let's go with that. And then they meet at night in front of the windmill, and they're like, all right, it's come down to us. So whoever wins, that's what it'll. Wang Yu is there posing. Hashimoto poses. I like his little double sword pose. And they begin their fight. Now, this is the last 7 minutes of the movie with just them fighting. He does this cheaty trick where he flashes, this in. They try to, they use various things to stop him. But his legs get sliced open, boot to the head. See, I told you there's some kicks here. They do jump clear up there. But yeah, see, what did I tell you about these cross swords always getting replaced? I don't know who this stuntman was, but I checked. That is not a dummy. That is an actual stuntman flinging around on there. I'm sure he's tied to it, but oh my gosh, I hope that he got paid well. Great shot. He's, you think, but he uses his martial spirit. You think he's down for the count. And now he turns the trick of flashing the blades on him, and there you go. What's happened here? And he smiles, and then blood, internal injuries. That's what blood from the mouth always in all martial arts movies. And he falls over dead. They go. Iron Man Chow leads the route to get the rest of the Japanese, and Mr. Chow falls over dead. And that's the end of the movie. So I highly recommend it. It's of all the non-Shaw Brothers movies I've reviewed, Jimmy Wang Yu is just right up there with some of my favorites. Just because, the sheer spectacle of this and the fact that he did a 45, 50-minute last half of the movie as a fight scene, and you get long camera takes that just pan across while they fight, and you don't get cuts. So you see them. Those are the actors doing it. I highly recommend it. Let's see. Oh, look what will be tomorrow. Sven is airing the Black Scorpion, so that's what we'll have tomorrow. I highly recommend that movie, and we'll talk about it. But until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off, and enjoy the trailer and phasing out.
How much will you pay me?
Huh? Money?
We fight for our country and for freedom. Men are dying while you ask for reward. There's no money.